Hi everyone. I have prepared a statement I would like to read to you. So I apologize if I'm looking down more than I am looking at the camera, but here we go. This video might make some people uncomfortable. Some will disagree with me and maybe even say I shouldn't do this. Others will feel relieved and grateful that I had the courage to speak up and say what they've been thinking but couldn't say. Either way, I'm here to speak my truth. Recently, I was removed from the Addiction Reset community. Why? Because I sent an email to a group of advocates and FARA trainees. In that email, I expressed serious concerns about what's been happening in the community. Concerns I've raised before, quietly, behind the scenes. But this time I shared them more broadly, and for that, I was removed. I can only assume, based on my experience, that Joan had me removed to make it look like I did something wrong and that she was protecting the Ark. Some people might see this as an attempt to discourage others from raising concerns, because they too might be removed from the Ark. For me, it feels less like safeguarding the community and more about protecting her authority from being challenged. I've also learned that Joan has sent me a cease and desist letter. Let me be clear, I will not be bullied. I will not be bullied into silence. Just because Joan doesn't agree with what I'm saying doesn't mean I don't have the right to talk about it. What's also strange is that the leader of the community, Joan, didn't even contact me herself or have a director do it. Instead, she had another advocate. She had another advocate reach out to me to inform me of the cease and desist letter. In my opinion, this approach does not align with the kind of leadership I would expect from someone in her role. I was also told that Joan wants me to write a retraction. But I won't. I will not be doing that, because writing a retraction would be a lie. And I'm not going to lie just to make Joan feel more comfortable. Instead, I'm going to record a video and share my opinion, like I am doing with this one, with anyone who wants to hear it. Approximately 7 to 10 days ago, the post office attempted to deliver a piece of certified mail while I was out. I'm pretty sure that's the official cease and desist. When I get it, I'll go through it point by point with you in another video. Because I think it's important that you hear my side of the story too, not just what Joan wants you to know. You may even be told not to talk to me. If that happens, ask yourself, why? If what is happening in the Ark is truly on the up and up, if the Ark is trauma-informed and safe, then I don't understand why raising concerns would be met with efforts to silence someone who speaks out. From my perspective, actions like these could be interpreted as a form of retaliation. Let me explain. I spoke up about what I saw. I raised concerns about unqualified parts work, emotional manipulation, and the unethical training of advocates to do trauma work without licenses. Instead of addressing those concerns, I was cut off, pressured to retract, and threatened with legal action. This situation reminds me of what I've heard others describe as whistleblower retaliation. In my view, this experience has raised some important questions that I think anyone in the Addiction Reset community should consider for themselves. If the Ark is truly about healing and safety, shouldn't they, or wouldn't they, the directors, welcome questions, not punish those who bring them up? Joan likes to use big legal sounding words. Maybe she thinks it makes her right. It could definitely make her sound like she knows what she's talking about. So she throws around terms like trademark infringement, defamation, and cease and desist. It sounds scary. That's the point. It seems to me that she's trying to silence people, not just silence me, but silence anyone that has doubts or concerns and voices them. If she truly believes she has a case and decides to take me to court, then okay, I guess we go to court. During discovery, both sides share their evidence, and I have plenty of documentation, emails, screenshots, recordings, transcripts, testimonials from others to support what I'm saying. If it comes to that, I am willing to share the documentation I have to support my statements. If Joan wants that, then so be it. Since the word defamation has come up, let's define what it actually means. Defamation, a false statement presented as fact that causes harm to someone's reputation. To be defamation, a statement has to be false, stated as fact, and harmful. What I'm sharing here is my opinion, my experience, and my truth. And where I refer to facts, I have the proof. So by definition, that's not defamation. Let's talk about gaslighting because it's happening. To me, it often felt like gaslighting, especially when being told things like, that's just your parts talking, even when bringing up concerns. If you've ever been made to believe that your gut instincts were wrong, that your fear, your discomfort, your something's not right feeling is just a trauma part that needs to be managed, that's gaslighting. I've seen this tactic used to dismiss real concerns and keep people from trusting themselves. And once I started seeing the gaslighting, I noticed patterns that showed up again and again in just about every interaction with her and every interaction I witnessed in study groups, check-in chats, and meetings. We can talk more about this later in another video if you'd like. Side note, and I think this is also important, I've heard Joan say more than once that a FARA trainee asked Perplexity who the leading expert is in processed food addiction, and according to her, and what I've heard Joan say, is that Perplexity thinks that she is the best and most expert in treatment. So I asked Perplexity myself if this is true. And here's what Perplexity had to say, and I quote, Perplexity is a research tool, not an authority or certifying body. Users are advised to use critical thinking and cross-reference information, especially for claims of expertise or authority. The platform does not independently assess or declare anyone as the best in treatment. Any such impression is the result of how information is aggregated from the web, not a formal endorsement or expert ranking by Perplexity. In summary, Perplexity is a search and information tool, not an authority that bestows titles or ranks experts. Any such claim should be viewed as personal interpretation, not factual, supported by how Perplexity operates. End quote. In short, based on my own findings, it seems to me that Joan has misunderstood or misrepresented how Perplexity works, perhaps to boost her own image within the art community. And if she's willing to twist the function of an AI tool to make herself sound more credible, what else is she misrepresenting? Just something to think about. We all deserve the right to make informed decisions about our mental health and recovery, not decisions based on fear or manipulation. Joan would like you to believe that I'm resentful. I'm not doing this out of resentment. I'm doing this because I care, and I'm not going to be bullied out of sharing my experience. In my experience, the Addiction Reset community was by far one of the most, if not the most, toxic environments I've ever worked in. I will leave it at that for now. Everything I've shared here is based on my personal experience and the information available to me at the time of this recording. If you want to hear more or talk privately, I'm here. I won't try to convince you of anything. Just share what I've experienced and leave space for you to draw your own conclusions. Until next time, take care and trust yourself.